All right, and we are back today. We got Westside versus Lincoln High, and Westside is on the blue side, and then we got Lincoln High on the red. And we are just waiting on map pick.
All right, as we get ready for Division 1 Overwatch, a couple things in-house.
First map will be Lijiang Tower. All right, as we start in Tower. No, this is Garden. My apologies.
Honestly, I really don't like this map.
Oh, I love this map.
This one in particular, because I feel like whenever teams go through this, especially like when I play, we focus on this like on the main bridge and not like the back bridges, and it allows for a lot of flanks on supports.
Oh, see, that is something. And then there's also the you run sim and TP into the window, and then you just run it down with Reinhardt.
That is true. I do not think we have a sim though. Their lineups for West Side is Doomfist for tank, Pharah, Genji, and Mercy and Kiri. And then the lineups for Lincoln High is Junker Queen, Bastion, Tracer, Baptiste, and Kiriko.
So we're looking at a Queen Rush versus a Dive Comp. Dive Comp Pharmacy.
All right, it looks like Lincoln has gone to the right.
Lincoln is going to go through white as Doom battles it out on the bridge around the tower. Doom is going for Pup. Doom is going to have no block, and their Bastion has Yo's turret for Lincoln High. There's the shout from the Queen. There's Bell. Probably going to play aggressive here off that Bell use. Their Tracer looking at their Genji. The Mercy is it does not have connection with the Pharah, and they're back. There goes out Lamb from Lincoln High. Bastion is in turret form. Oh, and there's the block out from Doom. There's Pup. He's punched in the wall, and down goes Bastion. The main DPS is down. This should be a cleanup fight for Westside here. And there goes Kiri and the BAP, and that's Queen dead. And that is a clean first fight, as Westside has Meteor Strike and Rush, and then Barrage. And then Lincoln High will only have the window for this fight.
I do think that was a good team fight. I think that Doom kind of messed with them a little bit because he was getting them out of position.
Doom was definitely causing problems. His position is pretty solid. I'm envious of good Doom players. And he is a lot better than I am. All right, there goes out Rush from Westside. I'm going to play aggro off that Rush. There goes the counter Rush from Lincoln High. Doom Pups. There's TP. There's Window from Lincoln High as well. They are down Bastion and Kiri. Oh, and it looks like BAP is next, and it's only Queen as Mercy gets off the res on Genji. And this is a clean fight for Westside again. Although now Lincoln High does have the Rampage and the Pulse. Might use Pulse to force out that Bell, or just run in with an axe and look for it there. But we will see, as they have Blade, Valkyrie, and Barrage for Westside.
Looks like they're continuing to go through the same door.
And there's the pole,
Doom?
and
Oh,
Doom is
Doom
gone.
is out.
Big pick from Lincoln High. They engage with Shout off of that. There goes Bastion's turret form. Westside did invest the Barrage into this fight. Oh, and Mercy's rezzing. Oh,
she
and
gets
there
it
goes
off.
Mercy. And Lincoln High invested the pulse bomb. And that was a clean fight. Taking down that Doom was a big pick. You just need to start looking for those knife pulls off the bridge.
Yeah, it's very hard to continue a game once your tank goes down, especially so early in a team fight.
It really is. It's just you don't have anybody to soak up all the damage. Their Genji's playing a little bit of an aggressive angle here. As their Doom goes in, there goes
Bastion is off
Bastion.
the edge.
It's an even fight. It's still anyone's game. The Bap is out. Oh, Bapio's lamp. They res the Genji, and they are down Tracer and Bastion. And they invested the Rampage. And there goes Blade from Westside. And this is looking like a clean fight. And Westside will take over the point again. And they still have the Valkyrie, and then they have another Meteor Strike. And between now and between this next fight, they will get a rush in between this fight too. But Lincoln High will have the rush, the Bastion ult, and the window. And they switched off the Tracer, going Soldier, hoping to deal with that Pharah. And as they go into the right room, Doom slams, and there goes out. No, there was the Valkyrie and the Meteor Strike. Oh, and that's looking like Bastion's going down next, and there goes Bastion. And this is looking like a lost. Round one is looking to go to Westside. There goes the rush from both teams. And there goes the tank. So that'll be a one fight for Westside. Round one is complete. Well done from both teams. The ult economy was looking pretty balanced. Westside was holding on to some more ults, but that's all right. At the end, it just matters who wins. All right, they're going. Looks like they're switching up the comm. Probably going to switch over to a Reinhardt or a Ram here.
It does seem that Lincoln does have a Ram. They have switched from Tracer to Soldier. They are keeping with their Bastion and their Baptiste. And they have switched from their Curie to a Lifeweaver.
That's an interesting choice. I don't see not a lot of Lifeweaver on this map. This is a very brawl-heavy map, but the Lifeweaver could be really good here.
Oh, it seems like we're going to have a Ram matchup.
So it's just going to be the Ram brawl from both tanks. Although Lincoln High doesn't have the speed that Westside has with the TP and the Lucio amp. There goes out Wheels from Lincoln High. Turret form is over. Sim is down main, looking at the Ram. And this most Ram matches come down to who uses Nem form first. And it's looking like it might be fight one is going to go towards Westside again. They're running the Hanzo, which is an interesting pick with the Brawl comp. Normally you see like the Bastion or the Junkrat in this kind of on this map specifically. Control Center is just such a easy map to just spam down chokes with, so it's not even a bad pick. And there goes out the Lamp from Westside. Soldier is just shooting at the Ram, trying to build some ult charge here. They do have the window for Lincoln High, although their BAP is half. BAP is going to need some assistance. He's just playing a close angle, not taking it too aggressive. He's getting back to half. This Hanzo is just shooting at him. As Westside has Dragons, Annihilation, Window. Oh, and there goes out the window. And now that might be a second fight over. I think they're going to play really aggro here. Yep. That pedal platform actually messed up their BAP. Really unfortunate. And then Westside is just going to back up here and play stable. Really well played.
Yeah,
holding on to 4 ults.
When you have platforms like that, the Lifeweaver needs to be very aware of what's happening on that platform, because if your teammate gets stuck, you need to be able to cancel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very unfortunate for BAP.
It's okay though, both teams. Lincoln High is coming up on 5 ults. If they can keep their Soldier or, they had to use the Annihilation to refresh the armor from Lincoln High.
They sent in Dragon.
Oh, and here goes out the Annihilation from Westside, and they also did invest the Dragons earlier this fight. And down goes Soldier. And then the pull out, and then the Lifeweaver pulled the tank out. That's a pick though. They can play off of that. The beat though is going to make that a little bit harder. Down goes the Ramatra for Lincoln High, and this is looking like it might be over. Life Weaver is looking to go on a little bit of an off angle and try to get to point. I do not think he will make it, though. And that's map 1 to Westside. Well done, both teams.
That is a shame, but I'm not sure. I don't think that Gretna's going to switch over to Citadel.
And Genji will get the play of the game. This is looking like it's going to be a tough matchup for Lincoln High, but there's a chance. If there's anything that Overwatch League has proved, it's that any team can go 0-2 and then pull it back.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think they can do it. I think they may need to work together a little more. I do think that their tank kind of does over push in some moments when his team is getting pushed. I also think that I think their supports are pretty aware. I think that they just need to be a little bit more.
Yeah, and a lot of those things come as like with more game time, and it's like both of these teams have a lot of time under their belt.
Yeah.
Dax is a GM support player, so GM. So there's definitely some advantage towards Westside, but nonetheless, it's still, any fight is winnable, any game. At the end, it just comes down to how coordinated you are.
All right, so we are on to the push maps.
And Lincoln High has chose Coliseo for this. Recently, a lot of the push has been dominated by the Queen Brawl. And they use Queen, most of the time they will use a Mei Reaper, and then they use a Moira Lucio. Moira is pretty solid right now. She just farms her ult. Really, you just have your Lucio staying on speed. He's amping everybody around, speeding Queen, getting that damage in, and just trying to build it without using heals. And then your Moira just farms the Coalescence in one fight. That's been a pretty dominant meta, especially with the release of Mauga. Moira was quite solid because both teams would go Moira and just farmed the Coalescence for the Mauga's cage.
Mauga is pretty strong, but I have not seen him that much at this tournament at all.
After they nuked him last patch, it's lent a lot less. He got a lot of nerfs that definitely did not help his case. He was so dominant because his cooldowns were so fast, and he was just, if you basically had 2 supports pumping him, he was just not dying.
I feel like that's still the same now because he has lifesteal as one of his abilities, and he just has a lot of health. I do think that his primary fire does do a lot less damage, but I do think that his cage fight and he just puts in a lot of damage, so it's...
That's the other part of it. The cage fight got nerfed too, so instead of him having infinite ammo during cage fight, it just reloads his gun without going through the animation. So that's another thing that makes it like harder to like run the Mauga, and you have to play a lot more natural cover because even with like a Moira and like a Lucio, like you don't really need Lucio with Mauga because he can just kind of run in and has an unstoppable charge, which is what all Reinhardt players want, and they're just like, no.
Yeah. I do think it is kind of absurd that he goes invincible in his charge, because that kind of just leaves any like Ana players or Zenyatta players like high and dry.
Oh, see, the Zen players are not the ones who are scared, because Zen has Discord, and as long as
that is true.
If the Ana player is even somewhat near them, that Mauga is probably cooked.
All right, it seems like they are going
that's a dive.
Westside is going Monkey Sojourn, Ana, Genji, Kiri. And then Lincoln High is going
They're going
Sigma,
for a poke
Hanzo,
comp.
Soldier, Baptiste, and Alari.
So they're looking to play off the poke comp. So they're gonna have to play pretty close together, and this is where the matching up comes into, because Dive plays really well into poke, because poke is like you're just sitting there, you're just wanting to take out damage on their tank, but what their Monkey's going to try to do is he's going to look for a target. Probably the Alari or the Bab. Maybe even the Soldier, because he does have the Genji to follow up with him. So we will see what happens as Sig's shield goes down. And then Westside is going to take the bot first, as they're going to back up here. Although Monkey is low. He has to play back a little bit. Genji is half. Oh, and down goes Genji. This fight is very winnable for Lincoln High. their poke is looking really good. Monkey does use the shield, and down goes the Winston. That fight is looking, it's going towards Lincoln High as they'll take the lead. And then Sig is just going to keep pushing and taking over that space. And
Seems like the Kiri's still stuck in the back line.
Kiri is just chilling in the back, and that's kind of something that people don't realize. Like, Kiri is such a danger to have in your back line.
She is
At this point, they're not even looking at her.
Oh, she takes down the Alari. Yeah, Kiri flank is very strong, especially if the Kiri can hit their shots. Because then by the time you turn around to look at her, she can just teleport
She's just
out.
picking people. And see, that's something a lot of people don't think about. It's like at the lower ranks, it's like the actual play style of Kiri is that you actually kind of want to hang out in their back line because you have TP and Bello to get away from things. And so it's like she is super scary, and her 1.75 headshot multiplier makes her just such a threat to the back line. You're just looking for off angles, just as Dax is doing. As they're just shooting at the Sig shield, just trying to take it down. And there goes the pylon. And it's looking like they're just going to keep poking, looking for a pick. Although it's not there. That is a...
Hanzo does have Dragon.
And there, he's going to invest it right there. And the only person on cart is the Winston. He's half. He's very killable if their tank pushes. And they did invest the rush. He's having to kite now. Oh, and there goes out the overclock from Westside. They did invest the Sun, though. And the Winston is quite low. And they did invest Nano, too. Oh, and that is a big flux. Winston and Genji are both dead.
That was a big ult.
They did have to invest a lot there. They did switch off the Soldier, though, to the Bastion.
Yeah.
That was a very expensive fight for both teams. Both teams only having one ult remaining, that being the Primal in the window. So this Winston's going to look to play pretty aggro here because he's not going to be worried about dying because he's an instant health refresh just by pressing Q. So he's going to look to push in here, probably pretty aggro, keep their Sig off point. As their Sojourn just sits up on the high ground, kind of uncontested by anybody. And they're still just sitting there poking, doing their thing. And their Winston Genji are not really like looking at many targets. They're just kind of looking at the Sig, who is antied currently. And their Sig did go down, although they did trade for the Soj. But this matchup just becomes so hard. Oh, and there goes out the turret for him. Winston is probably, yep, there goes out the Primal. That's exactly what that Winston was looking for. He was looking to play aggro, find picks. That was a very nice juggle. And he's just probably going to clean up here by cleaning up the Alari and maybe the Bastion. Nope, he is taking his leave. He got to 100 health, and he's like, I got my kills, and I'm out. And then there goes the stun, and out is the turret for him. Winston did have to invest his bubble, although the Bastion is anti. And they did have to invest the E-More. They're just going to keep poking here, not letting him push. Genji is back, and here goes out the Bastion ult. The Alari and the Dragon from Lincoln High. Down goes Genji, so that dive becomes a lot harder. And their Ana is just kind of cornered over there, although she does have... Oh, and there goes out Rush. Westside is trying to keep this fight winnable, but down goes Tank, and this fight just looks like it is lost, because there goes the Ana too. Big Bell from Dax, and that is the investment of the window as well from Lincoln High. Although they are coming up on a flux, so. Oh, Westside is going to have Nano Blade, though. And they have Overclock. And then Dax switching off of the Kiriko, switching over to the Zen for that Discord Orb, which is such a terrifying ability as a tank player. And down goes Hanzo. And they did invest the Nano Blade. Some might consider that an overinvestment of ults. But they do have the flux here, and then they still have the overclock. So this is still anybody's game with 4 minutes remaining, and a difference of about 6 meters for Westside, and both teams only having one ult up on the board. And they did switch off this. Just noticed they switched off of the Winston, switching over to that poke comp, and that was by this. And that's Bastion and the Alari down, which is quite scary for Lincoln High. And down goes Sigma, so they will just end up regrouping here. And it's looking like Hanzo gets staggered, so they have to wait a little bit longer. But it's all right. They have 2 ults here. Westside is almost looking at 4 ults, almost back to the Blade. And coming up on the Trans, and also the Flux.
Sigma does drop down.
They got close spawn, and now they're just going to kite it back, and they're just going to try to prevent from getting close spawn, which is really what a lot of teams have started doing in push maps. They just quit trying. They just get the halfway, and then they're like, all right, good luck. Investment of Overclock and Dragons. 1 ult from each team, and down goes the Genji and the Sojourn. No DPS, and the investment of both Fluxes. And it's looking like the supports for Lincoln High will go down, and then they invested the Sun too. Ult Domino is pretty much what just happened.
I do think that the Sun may have been a bit much.
I would have to agree. Because after those supports went down, the Sun was just like, well, that's just how it kind of goes.
Yeah, it was a little overkill because once the supports go down, if you still have your supports, your tank is more likely to win. And
it's looking like Sig is just going to kite the Discord exactly how you should do it. And they are going to contest from bridge. And their Sig does drop. Sig is alone. And Sig is being looked at. Oh, well, there's the anti and the Discord. And down goes Ana, but Bastion goes down in return. And there's the investment of Trans. And there goes BAP. And this fight there is still Alari on the field. So this fight is still winnable for Lincoln High. They do have to keep their Alari alive, and she is still alive right now. The pylon is down, and they're looking at the Sig, and there falls the tank, and that's going to be fight 1 for Westside, and they're probably going to push here because with only a 5-meter difference, that is anybody's game. Although there is only 2 minutes left. They do have the Nano, and then they're about 40 to a Flux, and they did switch off of the Genji to the Ashe to fit more with inside the comp, which is not a bad pick, although Lincoln High does have 2 ults here. They're probably going to look to invest pretty early, try to get a pick out on the Ana, maybe the Zen. There goes out the nade from Ana, and it doesn't hit anybody. And and there goes Bastion. And then BAP is up on the high ground, not having much view of his team, and they did nano the Sig. Sig is going to build Flux off of that. Both Sigs have Flux. Lincoln High does have 3 ults. They're just kind of pushing cart. And there goes out the Flux from Westside. And down goes Alari. But this is anybody's game. There's still and this is going towards Lincoln High's favor. As long as they can kill the Zen here, this is...
the Zen takes out the Sigma.
Zen has no need to be afraid. His kick is so strong. With Discord too. They did build the Trans, and they will have Bob. And it's looking like Lincoln High has 4 ults here. And they invest the Trans here, actually. Their Ana is on their way back. Soj is up on the high ground. And it's looking like they're just going to fall back, let Lincoln High take the bot. No, they're actually contesting them at midpoint. They invest Bob. Bob, although not in the greatest placement. But Bastion, and there goes the Bastion. They're down 3. The investment of the Bob worked. And there goes Sig. Although they still do have 4 ults here. But Westside does only have 1 ult. And if their Soj gets picked here. Oh, and they have no ults on the field. 3 of them. They use Dragon, Window, and Sun.
Oh, here comes in the Sigma.
And there's the Flux. They use all 4 ults, although it is overtime. So that was kind of necessary. There goes the they switched off of the Soj, actually. Or no, they switched off Hanzo and went to Reaper. This is looking like it might go in Westside's favor. Them having almost 4 ults up on the board is a horrifying thought, as Lincoln High will only have 1. As they're pushing, they did meet them in the middle, and there's Fluxes on the field for Lincoln High.
Oh,
and there's the Flux, and there's down 2, down 3, and that fight is going to be over for Lincoln High with no supports on the field. That is a rough game. Well played, though. Very well played, Lincoln High and Westside.
Play of the game goes to Zeke, Sigma.
Both Sigs have been pretty. The Sigma is really good.
Oh, he does take out the 2 supports here.
It is still winnable, though. There's one more match to go.
I think that the Sigmas are pretty evenly matched. I think it's just a matter of which Sigma like has their supports up with them. Because I've noticed when the Sigmas the Sigmas will push past each other and go for the other people's teams, but I do believe that the Sigma who has the support there wins.
Oh, and I think it's actually. Oh, it's actually over.
Yes, I think it is best.
Best of 2.
Best of 2. Or. Yes. Okay, they are done now. So that does mean that Westside did come out with the win. And that was good for both teams.
That was a very good game.
Yeah, very good fight. It was very interesting to watch. All right, I'm going to take us over to the other
player up for an interview here. Yeah, just throw on the headset. We'll transition right into this interview here. So, I think you're just looped around it there. There you go. So quick, just give us your name, username, and then what position you were playing.
My name is Nick Coates. My in-game name is Fancy, and I play tank for Gretna.
Okay, you're also the team captain, also
Yes.
for Gretna. So, yeah, in that last, I guess let's talk about that series. So we'll talk about game 1. What were your guys' thoughts going into it? You were playing. It was both. I think it was Ram versus Ram, Ramatra versus
Ramatra versus Ramatra.
at the start. What was your thought there with that map?
With that map, like especially on that first round when we were on the Ramatra versus Ramatra, we just noticed that we were on the Bastion and they were on the Soldier, so that enabled us to just play a lot more like brawly, and so we would like most times have like the first step with the Bastion Sentry form and be able to just put a lot of pressure on them and then win fights off picks like that.
Nice. And yeah, Meek was playing Meeks was playing on the Bastion there for that. Right, sitting behind and doing that. With the second part of that map, they kind of got the first little advantage, just getting on point first. What was your guys' thoughts? And then I'll ask one more question on that same map too. What were your thoughts when they first kind of captured point there?
So our original plan for that map was we thought that they were going to go Symmetra and teleport onto the point. And from our scrims, we have tended to not, like, when we try and match that strategy, we haven't tended to do the best. So instead, what we tried to run there was a bit more of a poke comp with a far to take off angles. So we would let them have the point and then sort of box them in there and do damage and then get picks. They didn't have the Symmetra, but we just ran with the same strategy, so we just let them get point first anyway.
Yeah. So then point gets flipped back and forth a couple times in there, but I want to talk on that last fight, especially with you. You switched from Ramatra over to the Sigma at that point, and you guys get walled off and immediately you're baptized. What was the process that you guys then had to go through to end up winning the fight?
Usually when things like that happens, we just try and stay like calm and collected and comms. And we can't just play the fight like normally at that point. What we instead have to do is we have to look for picks immediately. And I forget who we got, but we ended up getting a pick. And then after that, we recognized that it was winnable, and then we started committing ults and then eventually won the fight.
Okay, awesome. So Coliseo, thoughts on push maps and everything, but you guys did really well in the start. A lot of regrouping each time after a fight, even when you push up to kind of a choke point.
Yeah.
What was your guys' thoughts through that whole?
So we were lucky enough to be in a position where we not lucky, but we're in a position where we won the first fight. So throughout that entire match, we had the distance advantage. So what we decided was better, instead of trying to play aggressive and on the bot, even if we were down people because we needed those meters, we just backed up to get to a more defendable position, wait for our whole team. And then if we make them push into us, we're one, burning down the time clock, and two, making the fight a lot harder for them, which is exactly what we need when we're just trying to maintain a lead.
Absolutely. So also huge shout out to your guys' Sojourn being played by Rara Maber, which just picks left and right to kind of help you guys start each of those fights. And then if the fight got a little chaotic in the middle, typically you or Meek were able to kind of clean up or get a pick back to kind of bring it back even. So congratulations, you're on to play for the finals.
Yep.
So good luck in that. And we'll be doing just a quick break here as we get set up for our second game.
All right, thank you.
I grew up in Nebraska, and I thought that I'd move somewhere else for college. Then I visited Dome.
When I arrived at Dome, I just didn't know if I belonged here. I was really nervous to move to a university so far from where I grew up. It turns out this place was exactly what I needed. I think my experiences here at Dome are not only helping me grow as a person, but as a leader.
Dome has given me so much more than just an education. I have stepped out of my comfort zone, joined organizations and clubs that I never thought I would be in.
I know when I'm at Dome, I'm surrounded by people who want the best for me and who want to see me succeed.
I know my professors and they know me. Going to Dome was the best decision I've ever made.
Now when I'm on campus, it feels like home.
guaranteed 100% accurate taxes for millions of new homeowners. Intuit TurboTax.